Hi, I'm Tanya and this is LYIS TV, where we let the world hear your leadership voice. I'm here with my guest Caroline King, independent educational consultant and qualified executive coach, fellow of the Chartered College of Teaching UK. And we carry on talking about such an invaluable thing as a school culture. Hi again, Caroline.
Hi, Tanya.
Right. As a school leader, how do you balance the needs and expectations of the board, staff, parents, and students?
Yeah, so obviously a very, complex position to be in, having to manage expectations. I think very importantly, knowing one's sort of core principles, core values, and also the priorities in terms of what the school needs. It's really important to understand that. I think from that platform, those conversations and those expectations needs can be better balanced or approached in order to have constructive dialogue that is going to support the strategic aims of the school, but also support all stakeholders and all workers in that. So that real articulation of vision, understanding particularly the journey of the school, what the expectations of yourself are really all integral to being able to balance out all of those expectations across the board.
And so, what are the strategies? What strategies do you use to build a strong, engaged school community and maintain alignment among stakeholders?
The communication, is obviously key, and transparency is very key also. I think it's important that, you're able to build up a shared understanding. It may not always be common. You may not always align or you might have the same goal, but how you achieve that or how you interpret that may be different. But I think with communication, with transparency, it's doable. And also understanding that, change takes time, and being skilled at change management, keeping oneself not only updated with research, but also updated with, what is going on in the landscape, also does support, to be able to keep teams with them, take teams with them on that journey. So it's important not to neglect, I think, as a leader internationally, um, other narratives. I think we are our greatest resource as people, so having those networks, having those professional networks. I know from working in the UK, it was such an important part of our leadership journey, was building up, strong networks, support networks, where you could go and explore and find and do these things safely. I think all of that is important and integral in leadership now.
Right, and carry on talking about leadership. What leadership skills are essential for managing these dynamics effectively?
So I would say your skills very much lie in being passionate. Is like I don't want it to sound like a soft skill, but you have to know. Someone said to me once, like, really own the things that you're good at. You build your teams around you to be able to work on the things that aren't your particular strengths. But you have to trust processes. You have to trust people, and you can, if you've got that confidence to develop other people and build a team and give people autonomy and a voice, then you can make magic in organizations. So leadership is about knowing what you as a practitioner are like, what you as a person are like, and how you draw people into that aspect of the work. And again, it's in that moment of time. You're not always going to get teams that understand your vision and your flow, not always. But what you want to do is build teams that are doing it for the good of children. If you've got that at the heart of it, I think you can make magic anywhere, really.
And what practices help new staff integrate quickly into the existing school culture then?
Yeah. So I think really important professional development learning areas are really a key aspect. It's definitely something I would develop in a new role somewhere, is, really trusted circles where it's okay to make mistakes, and how we understand each other's journeys, I think, is important, especially with, internationally, the turnover. You're meeting people from all over the world, all walks of life, and how you understand their calling or why they may be in a particular place. I think sometimes the pace, and the expectation dictates that you just get on, and you come in, you get on with it. But actually, that can sometimes be to the detriment of progress, if actually what you've got is a lot of people in an organization that are just, they land in this new situation and just trying to get on. Dialogue is really important, and we mustn't underestimate the value of getting to know people and seeing people as the professionals that they are, and understanding their professional journeys, because then it leads itself to being able to effectively manage professional dynamics and also professional expectations.
Yes, you just mentioned that sometimes organizations are living in their very fast pace, and in international schools, high staff turnover can be very disruptive for students and for the whole school. What strategies support continuity despite frequent changes in leadership, including leadership? Not only teachers are changing every few years, but leaders as well. So how do you support the continue of the school growth, development, and of course implementing the school values and culture?
Yeah. So I think that's about that being that vision for the school being really clear and, very well articulated, documented, where we were 3 years ago, where we were a year ago, where we are now, where we want to be in a year, where we want to be in 3 years. You know, I think with that turnover, some of that understanding, if leaders kind of hold on to that narrative, it creates a healthier organization. As I said, if there are gaps, people will fill it in themselves. But if you are really clear about that vision, and it's not people dependent, it should absolutely be dependent on the needs of the school community, on the needs of pupils, not the adults within the organization.
The other thing just came to my mind, maybe on the process of selecting new staff. Not all these school HRs or agents are communicating well with the potential new employees, the school values. What kind of school is this? Does it really suit me? Or does it really suit you? Yes, so very often the only role is communicated well, and person maybe specification, person education. Yes, so what kind of people we need, but what kind of school is this, whether these potential employees suit this school. And maybe
Yeah.
better to be clear on the stage where when people are just being selected for schools.
Yes, I agree. I think it's in the recruitment phase, where, as you say, it's how that person is translating from paper to you meeting them and dialoguing with them.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's really important. It's, the shortlisting process should really be that first conversation of meeting somebody. You can have high caliber candidates, the CVs read amazingly, the language they use, but and I suppose this is the coaching element in me, when you really listen to people's drivers and motivations, you can start to see, is that a good fit for the organization? So there are probably, as a leader, skills that we should be imparting to our recruiting teams or our HR teams, so that is commonly known. What is it that we want for our young people, for our organization? Again, these are the strategies and the opportunities we afford to our teams to have that dialogue. There doesn't always have to be an output from an hour's meeting. Sometimes speaking to colleagues and just thrashing out ideas and thinking about scenarios and what could we have done differently, what could we have improved, actually gives it back to you fivefold. Having to be everything by an agenda and it must be like that. It's easy to slip into those ways of being because you think you have to be doing all the time. By human nature, we think we always have to be doing, but actually thinking is doing. It is an active verb, thinking. So I think that's something that will help in recruitment processes, I think, going forward, so that everybody in the organization understands what we're trying to achieve.
Right. Yes, you might be brilliant on the paper, but are we sharing the same values? Right?
Yes.
And finally, how do you engage parents and families as partners in maintaining and promoting the school culture and values?
I think it's really important for parents for us to encourage parents to be active in school. Um, I think having, when I say an open door policy, what I mean is, allowing parents to attend curriculum, understanding mornings, getting them to volunteer, being open with parents goes such a long way. Being visible with parents, even when they're at 10, you've got to bring them down. Like, you have to be brave as a leader, right? You have to sometimes take those harsh words and absorb that, and then know how to redirect the outcomes. And it takes years of building up a bit of a thick
That's
skin, but
strength.
actually,
That's strength,
yeah,
yeah. We're coming again and again to that important quality. You really have to be brave.
you have to be brave as a leader, definitely. And you have to have a good support network, because they are tough days, and it's hard to hear when you haven't done something well. Um, but hearing it is how you grow. And if, as a leader, you don't believe that you still have space to grow and elements that you need to still work on, then that value base has to be questioned also, right? You have to maybe hold up a mirror, because not everyone gets it right all the time. And we're human, as I say, we're people first before we become the role. So we have to be open to that, um, the tough days also.
Exactly. That's a great finale of our conversation. Thank you very much for being with us today, Caroline. It was great to talk to you. And have a
Tanya,
wonderful day.
you too. Thank you.
Thank you and bye-bye. Please like this
Goodbye.
video. Bye. Like this and subscribe if not yet. And thank you for watching. Leading Your International School is an international school leadership consultancy and member organization. We support school principals and those who aspire to become one with mentoring, training, and ongoing professional development.